Hi everybody, this is lesson number 7. I'm going to show you how to tune up your instruments even if you're deaf. In the old days, you had to do it relying on your ear. Nowadays with technology, your phone can do it. So we're going to use a program that you can download on any phone. It's free. The Tuner Lite. D-A-T-U-N-E-R space Lite. L-I-T-E. It's free. And it's on my phone. It's out here in the corner. The Tuner Lite. So I'm going to hit it, and up comes this. And you'll see it says the letters of the scale: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Some of them say sharp, some of them say flat. What you want to do is, and then there's numbers by them. And actually, the numbers relate to the octaves on a piano. Lower notes are 5s. Then they go to 4, 3, 2. They go up. Okay, so I'm speaking, I guess, in a very low octave. So let's put it up. And I'm going to take an instrument out that's really out of tune. Now, it needs to be quiet because it's going to pick up anything in your house. It doesn't have, there could be background noise, but then the instrument needs to be close to the to the phone to hear it. So this instrument is really old and it's really out of tune, and it's been in this case for a long time. And by the way, you should keep a towel in your case and wipe your instrument down. Now I'm going to change the strings on this instrument, and that'll be the next video lesson. That'll be video number 8, because I'll show you how to change the strings. All right. So on this instrument, we have a double first string, which means the two strings are both the same note. Double second string, single third string, single fourth string, and the strings are G, D, A, and E. And I taught you that in video lesson number 4, that we're using G-tuned instruments here. So I have 2 strings here. So you don't tune them both up at once. You hit the first string. I'll hit the farthest string from it. I'm going to hit the first one of those 2 double strings and see what I get. I should be a G. Wow, I'm way, 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 way down. Oh, no, it's F sharp. It's not bad. What's the next one hit? Alright, let's see what happens. So I take the tuning key for that and match that string. On this instrument, you're going to have to see which tuning key matches what string. On this one, it's this key right here. And I'm going to start making it tighter. Now look at the gauge on the bottom. If it's flat, it'll be this way. It'll say a negative number. If it's sharp, which means it's higher than it's supposed to be, it'll say plus. You want to be around 0. And we want to get to G. And actually, let's see what we get here. Watch the center thing go. I'm way flat. So I have to travel all the way through F sharp to G. Minus 20. 0. So on a brach, you want G4. G4. On a preem, it'll probably be G3. On a cello, it'll probably be G5. Alright. Now look, here's the next string. I have to use a different tuning key because each key does its own string. Now watch where this is. If I'm on F sharp when I start, I have to travel all the way through the F sharp, through that tone, until I get to the G. And then it'll end up in G, it'll be a negative number. Then I want to get to 0. So even if you can't hear at all you have to do is tighten the string or loosen the string. In this case, I need to tighten because F sharp or F is lower note than G. Remember the scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. F is lower than G. Here we go. It's at 0. See that? G4 is 0. Now hit them both together. It should sound like the same note. These strings are old, so I'm really not getting... There. I'm hitting both together. You can't hear the difference now, right? Because they're both tuned up the same way. I'll hit them individually. Watch where the 0 is. So they're both tuned the same. Now, what's going to happen when you have an instrument? An instrument needs to be kept in the same weather conditions. That means you cannot put this instrument in your trunk. This instrument has to be inside and kept in a case. And when you're not playing, it needs to go back in the case. Because humidity, dryness affect the strings. Now, once you tune this, it's not going to go that far out like when I started this. It might go down a little bit. If they're new strings, if you just change the strings, or for a few days, maybe a week, they'll drop a little bit. But once the strings are tightened up, they don't go out of tune that much. I mean, even if you're playing, unless you have a bad gear system up here, they usually hold tight. I have a Bugatti that I can keep in not play for months. I mean, even my other players are amazed. I go on a plane trip with it, and it still stays in tune. It was made by Valentic. It's got a really good gear system up there with the keys. So anyway, there's the G. So let's do the next string. Remember, it's G, D, A, E on all the instruments. They're all G's. I'll go to the D string. This one has a double D. So that means a double means they're the same tuned string, only I have to play both at once. So they're both D's. So I have double G's, two D's, a single A, and a single E. So let's hit the D and see how far off I am. See the tuner? It's at C. So that means I have to go, remember the scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I have to go from C to D. So I have to travel through all of C. There's also a note in between called C sharp. I have to travel that till I get to D. And we want to have D4. So I find the right tuning key. Hear it going up. Watch the phone. C sharp. I'm in D. Right at 0. That didn't take too long. D4. Now remember, this is a double string. This instrument has a double string. There's 2 of them. So I need to do the other one. It also has to be a D. So I start. Wow, this one's way down. So I find the right tuning key up here. It's up there. Every instrument's a little bit different. Here I go. I'm tightening it. And tightening means, see these strings, how they're put on the instrument? I need the string to have more tension. So it's either one way or the other. As soon as you hit it, you should know if it's going up. I'm on F sharp. This one's way down. That's at 3. I need to get to 4. Here I go. I'm almost there. Can I hit them together? Oops. There's no difference. Sounds like one string, right? Hit them singly. Now, you don't have to be exact. I mean, we're talking, I'm just a tiny bit below the zero, but not enough. So I'm going to tune it a little higher because strings loosen, they don't tighten by themselves. So you're better off going a tiny bit above the zero if you can't hit it exactly. And here I hit them together. So now I've tuned my G string, oops, and my D string, G, G4, D4. I'm hitting them both at once now. So now I go to the third string, that's A. Remember, it's G, D, A, E, G, D, A, E. So I get that E. So I need to get to A. Remember the scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you're coming up with a note below what it's supposed to be, if you're going up the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes back to A, so G is below A. So I find the right tuning key up here, and I'm watching the thing go up. I'm watching the level on the bottom go up. It's got to run through the note below A until it gets to the letter A. I'm in A, see? I'm in a negative A. I need to be at 0. That's just about it. Here we go. So this is A3. So it's D4. So now we're going to go to the E string and C sharp. So remember the scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, C, D, E. So C is below E, so it's naturally, these things are always going to drop. They're not going to tighten. I mean, they're going to get looser. They're never going to get tighter by themselves. So they're always going to start out lower if they're not in tune when they start. Now, this doesn't have to be done every day. I mean, unless there's something wrong with your instrument or you treat it really badly, these things are going to stay in tune. I mean, you have to play. I mean, I can play for hours and hours and hours and hours on my Bugatti, and it doesn't go out of tune. If the strings are good, if they're good shaped strings, and this thing has been in its case for who knows how long, a long time, years and years, and it's tuning up. Now, that doesn't mean the strings are any good. I'm going to change them all. Now, here we go. I need to get to E. Traveling through D. Here we go. I'm into E. I'm in the negative E's. Need to get to 0. There we go. E3. All right. So again, these numbers, the threes, it's on a scale of a piano. They base it off a piano. So the lower the notes, the lower the number. So on the bottom of the piano, if we went A, B, C, D, F, G, that would be 1. Then you go a little bit higher, that's 2. Excuse me, a little bit higher than that is 3. every time you recycle that A, B, C, D, F, G, they're just going up the piano every 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, A, B, C, D, F, G, A. So that just tells you where it would be on the piano. So the lower numbers, yes. 1 is the lowest note, 2 is higher, 3 is higher than that, 4 is higher than that, 5 is higher than that, 6 is higher than that. So it's just like up the piano. Every 8 is 1 block. So it's 1 block, 1 scale, 1 octave. It's called an octave. So we want E3, A3, and the AC went down a little bit. So this instrument hasn't been tuned for a long, long time. So the strings are loose. Come back to 0. The D's are holding. G's went down a little bit. So I need to bring them up. Here we go. Look, just want to be at 0. Oh, these strings are bad. So I just want to show you, actually, if you hit the 5th fret of your, okay, here's my G string, my first string. So the string behind it, the 2nd string, if I hit the 5th fret, and then I hit the G string, that should be the same note, because the 5th fret on these other strings equals the note on the next string. So I'll start on the last string, the 4th string, E. I hit the 5th fret, and the 5th fret is the A note. Well, that's the same note as the 3rd string. So if I hit them together, it should sound the same. They do. So that means these strings are in that bad shape. Now I go to the 3rd string, which is A, and I go to the 5th fret. And so the 5th fret is D. But the 2nd string is also D. So if I hit them together, they should sound the same. We got a problem there because they don't. And I know that these D strings are, I can see the rust on them. So they're not going to tune up right. I'm going to change them. Then if I hit the 5th fret on the D string, that's a G note, and that's the same as your 1st string. So if you hit them all together, look at the tuner. It's pretty good. That means I'm hitting 4 strings at once. There's just a tiny bit of variation there. That's how you tune your instrument. Okay? All right. The Tuner Lite, DA space Tuner, Tuner, Lite, Lite, free. Get it on Google Play. It's free on all the devices. All the musicians are using it now. It's so easy. You could be deaf, right? And still tune. All right. That's it. That's how you tune your instruments. They're all GDAE that we're using. If you're using a different tuned instrument, you know, if it's a D instrument, it's starting with the D, D-A-E, B. So, you get the idea. All you need to know is what your string names are, and then you can tune your instrument up. Simple. And anybody can do this. All you do is follow the arrow, or follow the gauge, until you get to 0. Just tighten it up until it's to 0. It's always going to start out lower. It's never going to be higher unless somebody screwed around with your instrument. And that shouldn't happen. You should be protecting your instrument from anybody. It's not a toy. Okay, that's enough. That's how to tune your Tamburitza instruments.